Hi, Carol. Just a heads up, but Jim told me to tell you he was going to be late coming home today. He said he wanted to work out at the gym tonight.
Huh? What for? How late will he be?
8:30 p.m.
Excuse me? What is he going to a gym for? He never told me anything about that.
It was something I casually mentioned to him the other day. He was getting worried about his weight since he's been packing on the pounds. And that's not to mention how he has an upcoming doctor's appointment, and he'll be devastated if they find out he's gotten even bigger.
And so what if he's gotten bigger? Weight does not necessarily equate to health.
You might be right. I think our society puts a little too much emphasis on weight loss being the cure for everything. But in your case, your family has a history of cancer, diabetes, and strokes, right? And it's been specifically linked to obesity in most of those cases. And even if I suggested it to Jim, it was ultimately his choice to go through with it.
Do you think I'm stupid? I bet you forced him. He's at the top of the food chain. He's a busy-bodied CEO, yet he's sweating on a treadmill with the rest of those lowly gym rats.
That's really harsh.
I don't care. I want my boy home right now. He told me he was going to have dinner tonight with me because you refused to feed him right. But it's going to be so late by the time he gets home. I'm not going to have time to cook.
Huh? When did he tell you that? I was in the middle of preparing for dinner. I expected he'd be coming straight home once he got out of the gym.
Well, I suppose it must be because he's absolutely dreading whatever filthy rabbit food you'll be making for him.
Look, he was advised by his doctors a while ago that he should quit eating junk and oily foods. And he's recently decided to take that to heart so he doesn't get a lecture at his next checkup. I'm just helping him achieve his goals.
No, do not think I'll be hearing those excuses. He needs to eat more than just a few slices of lettuce if he wants to have the energy to run his business. And a CEO should have a commanding presence that screams, "You all must obey me or else." And you can't achieve that by being skinny. So if he passes out or starves because he's not getting enough nutrients in him, just know that it'll be your fault for enabling him.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Don't go pointing fingers at me.
What? It's true.
No, listen, I think he's doing better than ever. He used to be so picky, but he's grown to love salads. Now he asks for them every time we have dinner together.
He's experiencing Stockholm Syndrome, you witch!
I think you're misusing that term. Also, that doesn't exist. And there are plenty of skinny CEOs out there. I just want him to be healthy.
Ugh, you're so irritating. All my other friends are always complaining about how their daughters-in-law act out of line, but now I feel as if I fully understand their plight now.
I apologize if I've come off rude.
Whatever, I don't care. But if you really want to make it up to me, I need you to run out to get some stuff for me.
I suppose if Jim won't be coming home for dinner, I can pause my dinner preparations for now. What do you need?
There's a big shopping mall near where you are, right? There's a handful of restaurants there that should still be open at this hour. I need you to get a seafood meal set along with some steak, and ask them to make them extra large. Don't skimp out on the side dishes either, like fries and coleslaw. And you can't forget the drinks.
Huh? That's a lot of food. Have you decided you wanted to throw a party with some friends? At any rate, I think I'll probably get to your place with the food around 7:30 p.m. Is that good with you?
Don't be so silly. Who'd start a party at this late hour?
I mean, plenty of people do.
This will all be for Jim.
Huh?
Like I said, I don't have the time to cook, and I need to be here to greet him. And you have plenty of free time on your hands, so you need to help me get his food.
Right. Even though he still hasn't texted me.
His arms probably feel like noodles from all the exercise he's getting at the gym. He'll regret that he let you convince him. Anyway, be quick about it.
Sure. But before I do that, I think I'm going to call to ask him if he really wants to eat that stuff. Like maybe he'd prefer a different type of meal, Or maybe he wants to make sure I save him a Caesar salad.
No! That is not necessary! Don't contact him!
Why not?
Even after he gets out of the gym, he's still a very busy man. He probably has emails he needs to send out to his clients, and he won't have any time to be answering your calls. So don't you dare annoy him. Just do what I say.
That's a strange excuse. He's off work right now. Why would he be answering emails outside of his work hours? Especially after getting out of the gym. That sounds like he's done for the day. Also, he's told me he hasn't been busy, and we regularly text or call each other throughout the day.
Well, that won't do. A man shouldn't be on the phone so frequently, especially not with his wife. He always must prioritize his work. He must set an example for his employees to look up to. If he's wasting his time calling his wife when he could be getting more work done, he'll lose everyone's respect.
I don't understand. Overworking is horrible on the body.
Shut up! If he wants to text you himself, he will. But don't you dare be the first to call him.
Okay, fine. I'll be patient.
Good. So just be a good girl and buy the things I told you to. Oh, and if you're worried about the money, ask Jim to pay you back when he's home. I understand that as a woman, you make far less money than he does. So I'm certain he'll be more than happy to pay you back. If you're lucky to find him in a generous mood, maybe he'll even tip you. Wouldn't that be nice?
Uh-huh.
Anyways, hurry up and go to the store so that he'll have food waiting for him before he gets home. In fact, consider this a rush job. If you don't make it before he's home, I'll tell him not to pay you back at all.
Okay. I'll do my best, I guess.
Oh gosh, Kate. I'm sorry about last night. It seems I was mistaken and that he had actually intended to go back home to your place after all. I heard you had to finish preparing his dinner in a hurry.
That's okay. It wasn't so bad. I just had him eat the same thing I was eating.
Oh, really? You weren't just going to prepare mac and cheese for yourself once you thought you'd be eating alone?
Nah, I'm not a fan of mac and cheese. But I suddenly didn't really feel like cooking anymore once I got home, so I put away all my ingredients and ordered some seafood pasta and Italian pizza.
Wait, what? You ordered out? You didn't cook? What are you even doing? I can't believe you're wasting Jim's money like this. As his wife, it's your duty to help him save it.
But I used my credit card.
And so what? You're still wasting money. Eating at home saves you so much more money than eating out. Do the calculations yourself and then you'll understand.
It's my money, so I think I should be allowed to order what I want.
Certainly nothing so fancy.
It's not like we order this kind of stuff all the time. Besides, Jim was very happy with what I ordered to where he ate most of it. We even were talking about how nice it was to be eating a fancy meal at home after not eating out at all these past several months.
What a horrible waste of money. You don't deserve to eat out like that. You need to prepare your own food.
By the way, whatever happened to all that food I brought last night? I hope you didn't throw them all away. Did you invite some friends over after all? Or did you eat them all by yourself?
Of course I ate them all. I'd never waste so much food. It'd hurt my soul.
What? So you aren't kidding? Every bit of those drinks and those side dishes and those meals I bought all went in your stomach last night? How much of an appetite did you have? You could have left some for today's lunch or dinner. There's no reason for you to have eaten so much food at once.
There's plenty of reason. I'd never keep food when I can just eat it right away. I love freshly prepared food, and I'm quite the connoisseur. I am the type of person who hates eating the same boring food every day. That's why I cook different food for every meal, and I take extra special care to ensure that there are no leftovers.
I see. Well, as long as that food didn't go to waste, I suppose I can't say I care too much about what you did with it.
Anyways, stop wasting money on fancy food and just cook. You don't earn enough to warrant fancy dinners of any sort, and And you shouldn't dare to waste Jim's hard-earned money. Do you understand? Start buying fresh fruits and vegetables from the supermarket every single day and prepare nothing but home-cooked meals for yourself. No more fancy food for you ever! Are we clear?
Okay, fine, Carol. I will do my best. Oh, I almost forgot to ask you about all the money I had to spend to get you that food last night.
Oh, would you look at the time? What am I doing still talking with you? I ought to be going now. My friend is waiting for me, and so I must rush to the mall so that I don't keep her for too long. I will talk to you later. Goodbye! Huh? Carol? Wait! Kate! I heard that Jim's business is going through a bit of trouble. Is that true? What's going on here? Mind explaining it to me?
Yep, it's true. All his clients are apparently going to his competitors, and it's screwing him over. So in other words, his company is now dealing with financial issues.
Huh? So you knew all about this, and yet you didn't do a thing about it?
What do you mean by that? I don't understand what you're trying to say here. Are you saying that I should have tried to prevent it somehow, or…
Of course! How could you ask me such a silly question?
Wow, okay. What on earth would you have wanted me to do?
You're Jim's wife, and as a wife, you have a duty to support your husband. And yet you're still working at your office as if nothing is happening. Why are you so preoccupied with your own meaningless career when Jim's business is on the line? Think about it. That miserable office job of yours probably barely gets you any money compared to what Jim usually gets. So why are you prioritizing it? Why aren't you helping him, you useless ingrate?
Whoa, calm down there.
No, I will not calm down.
Just please let me explain myself. Jim's business hasn't been going well for many years now. 6, to be exact. And I have been helping him financially.
And you honestly think I'm stupid enough to believe that? You? Help him with money? Where did you get that from? A night shop somewhere?
Wow, that's going too far, ma'am. I give his company about half my income every month. You know, the income from the job I work.
And? So how much is that? By saying it's half your income, it makes it sound like it's a ton of money. But if you only earn $1,000 per month, then it's quite a load of nothing.
I give him about $900,000 every month. But he told me that he's using that money to pay off the company's debt, including the salaries for his employees. So all that money gets gobbled up really quick, even with my help, since his company's hardly turning a profit otherwise. They're certainly in dire straits, I'll say that much.
Huh. Oh, my word. That is such an outrageous lie, I can hardly even speak. There's no way you could even hope to afford that. How dare you lie to me and expect me to believe that nonsense?
But I'm not lying. It's the truth.
Shut up! You're just a lowly office worker. Your parents aren't rich either, so there's no way you could possibly have that much money in your hands, you filthy liar.
Well, I'm not lying. But if you don't feel compelled to believe me, then that's no skin off my nose. How about you please confirm it with Jim if you're so skeptical?
No, that's not necessary. Because I refuse to believe that you're anywhere close to being smart enough to earn that much money every month. You might have convinced me if you had said $900, but never in a million years would I ever believe $900,000. Do you think I'm stupid? Did you forget to add a decimal point somewhere? Oh, but I suppose the idea of you giving him even $900 per month would be a hard sell for an office worker such as yourself. Regardless, none of this changes the fact that I absolutely will not believe a word that comes out of your filthy lying mouth.
Like I said earlier, it's fine if you don't believe me.
Good, because I don't.
But I know my own heart, and I know it to be true. And you're always welcome to confirm it with Jim in case you're ever inclined to learn the truth.
But he's never once mentioned to me anything about you helping him financially. What he told me was that he's working hard to support both of you with his income alone. He said because you don't earn much, he can't rely on you. He has to shoulder the cost of everything on his own. Even now, he barely has any savings because of how poorly his business has been going. That's what he said to me. The math isn't mathing. Clearly, one of you is lying here, and I don't think it's Jim.
Hold on, back up. You're saying Jim said that to you?
Yep. He even has said that although he's a CEO, he has to prioritize his workers and his company, so he doesn't bring back home much money anymore. Do you understand what that means?
No.
It means my boy is so hardworking, he's willing to sacrifice himself for his poor workers and to pay off his debts. Clearly, I've raised him well.
Well, if what you're saying is true, then clearly you've raised him to be a liar. Is what you're saying true? Did he really and honestly say that to you?
Yes! How many times must I repeat myself?
Sorry, I'm just really struggling to wrap my head around this.
I feel so bad for him. In a way, I'm contributing to his financial crisis.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
He's been giving me a monthly allowance even though he doesn't earn as much as he used to. He's such a sweet and caring boy. Do you understand his situation now? So we're only asking that you pick up the slack and get an actually half-decent job. I don't care if you like your current job. Now's not the time to be selfish. If you don't do what we say, then that means you really are just an inconsiderate and selfish wretch.
An allowance? Really? You never said a word about that to me. Oh, I can't believe this. He could have just told me and I would have understood. Why is he keeping all this from me?
Well, it's clearly because you haven't been a dutiful daughter-in-law to me. You've never done anything for me, so even when he's struggling, he finds it in his heart to help me.
I don't understand how that should correlate to him not even telling me about it. I think you're just trying to find a way to air out your grievances on me.
Shut up, you! Anyhow, I suppose now that I know he is struggling so heavily, I should stop accepting that allowance. He needs to prioritize that company of his. Oh, what a shame. He was promising me a luxurious trip to Europe next year, but I suppose even I must make sacrifices.
What trip?
And I was so looking forward to it, too. He said we'd be going, just the two of us.
He never told me about any of these plans. And what money was he planning to use for it? The money I've been giving him? That's meant to help his company.
Stop with those idiotic lies. But do understand that my son is a sweet boy who loves his dear mother very much. A useless woman like you has no business coming along anyhow. What a mistake it was for him to marry you of all people. He could have wound up with someone much richer. My poor Jim has to bear so much weight on his shoulders. Not only just his company's issues, but also just the everyday mundanity of having to deal with you. The least you could do is make yourself useful around here. Jim is breaking his back every single day in order to support a lazy bum like you. If you really care about Jim as your husband, then do something!
I do care about him, but...
But what? I don't care what your excuse is. Don't make Jim suffer any more than this. If you make him pass out from stress, I will never forgive you. I can't accept the possibility of losing him all because you made him work himself to the bone.
You're bombarding me with all these insults and accusations. But like I've been saying, I've been working and supporting him financially. On top of that, I have to deal with all the housework. I may be biased, but objectively speaking, I think I'm being a good wife to him.
Oh, I've just about had it with your lies.
Like I said, I'm not lying.
Blah, 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 talk to the hand. Let me make it very clear for you, so even a thick-headed Neanderthal can understand. You need to leave my son as soon as possible before you destroy him. You're nothing but a nuisance leeching away his life force.
Excuse me?
I've been thinking for a while now, but Jim deserves to have a better wife who is more caring and loving to him. He's got plenty of time. He's still young. so he can start over any time, I'm sure. He should find a wife who will actually help support his business instead of letting herself be stuck in a dead-end, low-income office job. Someone who will support him physically, mentally, and even financially. So as his mother, I've determined you're completely unfit as his wife. I will have you two separate at once. Stay away from him. I better not see you with him ever again.
I'm going to warn you right now, but if you're really being serious about this, his company is as good as gone.
Huh! As if.
I'm not playing around. He will absolutely go bankrupt. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with bearing that responsibility?
Keep barking, you dog. I know you have no bite. No one needs you around if you're not going to support his company in its time of need. And it's rather bold of you to act like his company needs you when you're not doing squat. You're a useless woman who spends her husband's hard-earned money like it grows on trees. The only thing you're good at is using his money for your own benefit.
I barely even use his money.
No, you do. And frankly, I'm pissed that you use his money to go and have frivolous fancy dinners when he can barely keep the lights on. You don't deserve it. So do not take Jim's money anymore, you scoundrel. Now that I know the truth, I won't forgive it any longer.
Okay, fine. If you say so, I'll leave him. Just like you want.
Glad that we easily came to an understanding. I'm sure you know deep inside your heart that everything I've said has been true. I suppose you might have some semblance of a conscience then. Anywho, don't worry about telling Jim about this. I'll be the one to convey the news to him myself. I'd rather you not speak directly with him anymore if I can help it.
Fine. I have no objections to that.
All you need to do now is start packing up your stuff so you can leave Jim's house as soon as possible. I don't want you to bother the two of us again for the rest of our lives.
I'm at work, so I can't do all that right this very second. I need some time to pack up all my stuff so I can prepare to move out.
Oh, you're so silly. You think that crummy little job of yours actually has you busy? Why don't you quit it? It hardly makes you any money. What point is there to you working there? How irritating.
No, I especially won't be doing that now that I'll need to support myself from here on out.
Oops, I suppose that's true. You won't get to be attached to your little moneymaker anymore. And I heard it's quite difficult to find a job when you're in your 40s, so go ahead and keep that job. You likely wouldn't be able to find another anyway.
Thanks, as if I needed your opinion.
Oh, I will certainly not miss that cheek of yours. But fine, I'll allow you some time to pack your things. But you better make it snappy. I won't be waiting forever. You'll have until I lose my patience to move out. Once you got all that in order, let me know immediately. Until you've moved out of Jim's place, I'll be having him stay with me. So don't worry your pretty little head about him. He'll be safe from your deceitful wiles so long as he's with me.
That's great. Thanks.
Good luck with the move. I'm certain you'll need it. Oh, I just can't wait until the day you leave. Like I said, make it snappy. Kate, have you finished packing yet? I do believe I've given you a rather generous amount of time to pack your bags and head on out of there.
What a terrible delight to be speaking with you again, Carol. Anyway, yeah, I finished packing everything up and I've settled into my new place. And I've also signed and submitted our divorce papers, in case you thought I had forgotten.
Oh my! And so quickly, too! You have me quite pleased.
Yep, you're welcome.
I thought for certain we would have had to drag you kicking and screaming to the courts to have everything settled. So I'm pleased to hear that you've taken the initiative.
There's a good reason for that. It's because Jim had already signed these papers back when we had a big argument a couple of months ago. So all I had to do was put my signature down and turn it in.
Huh? Wait, you had those divorce papers readied? For what reason? I suppose kids these days only know how to disrespect the sanctity of marriage. One small argument and suddenly you're bringing divorce to the table. You have no patience to work out any of your problems whatsoever.
Way to jump to conclusions. I promise you it was a big argument. We had reason to believe it was bad enough to separate. And so we had those papers ready just in case things couldn't be resolved to ensure the divorce would go through smoothly. That's all.
Well, whatever. I hardly care about that nonsense anyway. All I care about is that you're divorced and finally out of Jim's hair once and for all. So are you done now? Since you've moved out, Jim can go back home, right?
Yes, for now he can. But make sure you tell him to pack his bags and get out within the next 2 months.
Huh? What are you saying? That house belongs to him. Why on earth are you making those kinds of demands of him?
The owner of the house. That's who.
I think not.
I suppose that isn't entirely correct anymore. So in a way, you're right. I originally bought that house under my name. But someone else has bought the house and plans to start living in it within the next 3 months. So Jim needs to leave.
Huh? But when you two got married, did you not put the house under his name instead?
Nope. He told me he didn't want to deal with all the paperwork required to make that happen, so he allowed me to keep it under my own name. Plus, we weren't planning on living there forever. We intended to move out within a couple of years or so, and whatever new place we'd buy would be under his name.
Wait, so does that mean you guys were going to buy another house?
Well, what I've wound up buying is a condo, actually.
Perfect! So Jim can move into that condo then. He doesn't need to keep living in that house of his if you really have sold it off.
Like I said, I am the one who bought that condo. In fact, I bought it after we finalized our divorce. So this condo is all mine, and he has no right to it as my ex.
You bought a condo after your divorce?
Yes. Problem with that? If I remember correctly, I should be allowed to do what I want since I'm on my own now.
There's loads of problems with that. You shouldn't be able to buy a condo without Jim's income to support you. So how did you get your hands on that kind of money? Oh, I know. You must have stolen it from Jim. Isn't that right? You two once shared a savings account. If that's where you got the money from, then you should surely know that the money in there belongs to him as well, since you two were married before. Don't think you're being slick here. Give him back the money you've stolen.
Wow, don't make me laugh. There was hardly anything at all in that savings account of ours anyway. Certainly not enough for a condo. Well, there was probably at least enough to buy a nice laptop, but otherwise it was pretty much nothing. Oh, did you want the money to buy a laptop? I can give it to you if you'd like. Think of it as sort of an allowance. It'll be the first and last time I'll ever be giving you any money, so be sure to treasure every cent, okay?
Are you mocking me?
Not at all. And as for my condo, I plan to pay it all off very soon.
How can a low-income office worker like you purchase a condo of all things? You must be lying again, you filthy scoundrel. No one in their right mind would ever approve of you buying a condo with the pennies you bring home.
I've told you before that my income is quite high for an office worker. I even said that I'd give Jim a very generous $900,000 a month, remember? You even acknowledged that it was a lot of money. Also, I suppose I should correct you on something. You keep calling me a low-income office worker, but I'll have you know that I'm actually the CEO of my company. So quit calling me that.
Wait, what? No, you must be joking. That can't be true.
And Jim knows about my business. He also knows that I make $20 million a year while my company itself regularly rakes in billions of dollars.
What? Are you sure you aren't just exaggerating that? It's not a more reasonable number, like $30,000 per year.
Nope. Like I said, I'm not a low-income office worker by any stretch of the imagination.
This is the first I've heard of it. Jim's never told me a single thing about this. So I can't believe you.
Oh, Lordy. How many times are you going to make me repeat myself? I'm too tired to say it all again. Anyhow, so that's how I can afford to give him $900,000 a month for his company. is pretty much petty cash to me.
Then why didn't he ever tell me the truth?
If I must hazard a guess, I'm going to suppose that he must have been embarrassed of himself for having a wife who earns way more money than him. Especially since his company's been running in the red for years now, while my company has been doing just peachy. But you never believed what I said, no matter how many times I tried to convince you. It really is such a shame. You only ever believed the lies your son fed to you. And now look where things are. You let yourself be fooled by him. Anyhow, it doesn't matter if you will still insist on not believing me. That's your prerogative. You and I have nothing tying us together anymore, so I have absolutely no obligations to try and have you believe me anymore.
Oh no. Hold on. So you're being serious here. So Jim has been completely lying to me about him supporting you financially. It was always the other way around.
Yep. Glad you're starting to get it, Grandma. In fact, I think he basically hasn't had any income at all for the past 6 years at all because of the debt his company is half sunk in. And even if he has managed to spare some money for himself, it was probably pocket change.
You must be joking about him having no income. There's no way! You're not lying to me, are you?
God, stop making me repeat myself! Just scroll back up on our conversation and read what I've told you over and over again until you understand that everything I've been saying has been the honest-to-God truth.
But he's been giving me an allowance up until now. So where did that all come from? If Jim didn't have any income of his own, then where did that money come from?
How the hell should I know? Please at least try to use your critical thinking skills and connect the dots yourself. I feel like I've been having to walk you through everything. Okay, look. I was the one who was financially supporting Jim, right? Then unless he's been begging for money from elsewhere, that money clearly came from the support I've been providing him. There. Have I made it all clear? Anyhow, I hardly have the time to spare on you. I need to get back to my work. As you should have finally learned by now, I am the CEO of my company, and I have plenty of work I must do to keep my business running. Surely you understand, yes?
Okay, fine. I'll leave you be for now. Oh, hello, Kate. I am so terribly sorry to be bothering you when I'm sure you're so busy, but I simply must ask you something. Jim was telling me that you haven't deposited the money in his bank account.
Huh? What are you talking about? I don't owe him any alimony.
No, it's not about that. You remember the $900,000 you would give him every month? He was wondering where that was.
What? Is he soft in the head or something? He honestly thought I'd still be giving all that money away to someone I've already divorced? He and I have nothing to do with each other anymore. His problems are no longer my problems, and I could hardly care less about what happens to him in that company from now on.
Oh, no. Please don't be so harsh. Shouldn't you feel at least somewhat inclined to help him? Even if you are separated now, you did spend many years as husband and wife. Surely you still harbor some affection for him.
Nope.
But if he doesn't get that $900,000, his company will be in huge trouble. It'll be going bankrupt by the end of the month, no doubt. It'll be finished.
Good. I don't care.
Please have some mercy. Please, we need you to deposit that money in his account as soon as possible.
Are you insane? Do you even know what you were saying? Unless the courts have demanded it, I owe nothing to my ex. Ugh. Like I said, I don't care about his company anymore. It's none of my business, and I don't care to know how it's faring. I'm staying out of this, and you can't make me do otherwise.
Also, he said that all his home appliances are gone, and it's been a huge inconvenience for him. He doesn't even have a microwave. Can you believe that? He can hardly live in his new place, so you better give it all back. That's the least you can do for him.
Why? I was the one who purchased all of that, so I have every right to them. Understand? They belong to me. And you told me to pack my stuff, so of course I packed everything. Why should I give them back? He can purchase replacements, no problem. Surely even he has enough money to do that as the CEO of his company. No, those home appliances belong to the two of you since you were living together as a married couple. Nope. I bought all of them when I was still single, so he doesn't have the right to any of them. They're mine. But you know, these are getting quite old, so I do plan to throw them away and purchase new ones.
Why you? If you're going to be dumping them anyway, then why did you not leave them behind? You knew Jim would still be living there. Gosh, why must you be so cruel to us? There's no reason for you to be so petty. You don't have to take everything away from Jim. He's absolutely miserable right now. Don't you have a heart? Why must you do such a cruel thing only to hurt him?
Stop calling me names. All I did was claim my stuff. I packed everything that belonged to me just like you wanted me to. So sorry for listening to you, even though you never listen to me. Besides, I knew Jim can't live alone with his income anyway, so I actually wasn't expecting him to try and stay. In fact, I was absolutely certain he'd go crying back to his mommy.
But if you had just kept the appliances there, Jim would have been able to live on his own. Besides, he had to leave that place soon anyway, so he could have taken them with him to his new place. Oh, it's such a waste of money to have to buy a bunch of brand new things when he used to have access to them all before. And you're the one keeping them from him. You're so horribly inconsiderate.
Hey, I was nice enough to give away all the money that was left in our savings account. If he really needs new appliances so bad, then he can just use that money to purchase them. I'm not inconsiderate. That was more than he deserved.
What on earth are you saying? That money was less than $2,000. That's pennies. Don't you understand how expensive things are nowadays?
Nope. That's none of my business anymore. He's an adult, so he needs to learn how to handle his stuff on his own. Besides, it's hard to feel too bad for him when this is all his fault anyway.
What do you mean by that? He's totally innocent, and you're punishing him for no good reason. You're the villain who's taking away everything from my dear son. How dare you hurt him just because you're holding a grudge? I won't ever forgive you.
Likewise, I won't ever forgive what he's done either. All right, let me tell you exactly what he's done. You may find it quite shocking. He, for some reason, decided that just because he's a CEO, he should have access to every luxury he could ever possibly want. He used his money on luxurious cars and cruiser motorcycles and spent money like his company wasn't sinking into the ground. On top of that, he gambled a lot. He went to casinos in Vegas almost every weekend while pretending he was going on business trips. That's where all his money was actually disappearing to.
No, you're lying.
God, I wish. But it's true. Even when his own company was in dire straits, all he cared about was looking the part of a cool CEO without having to shoulder any of the responsibility. He only cared about using his money on stupid things to make himself look good. Oh, if only I'd known he was such a pathetic and stupid man. I would have never married him to begin with.
But Jim said that he didn't have an income of his own because he had to prioritize paying off his company's debt and his employees' salaries. If what he said was true, then there's no way he'd have enough money to waste on all that.
What a joke.
Are you trying to badmouth Jim to try and get me on your side? Well, too bad, because I will always believe in my son.
It's true that he didn't have a salary, but not because he was paying any debt or his employees' salaries. It's because of that money I was giving him every month. Instead of using it for his company, he wasted it on other junk behind my back. Every single month, he wasted that money. Do you understand how enraged I am?
So, are you saying that the reason why his company hasn't been doing well is all because he was wasting money like that? He was lying about all his clients going over to his competitors.
Yep.
So he always had the money to keep his company afloat, but he just never used it?
Absolutely! glad you're starting to get it. That means his company's sinking is all his fault. If he really wanted to keep his company afloat, he shouldn't have been wasting all the help I had been giving him. He should be grateful, but this is how he thanks me. And all his employees are extremely fed up with him. Their paychecks come late, and they're told that they can't get any raises because the company isn't doing well when that's all a lie. I was so naive. You say you believe in him even now. Well, I believed in him too. I honestly and truly thought that $900,000 I was giving him every month was being put toward paying off his company's debt. And it wasn't. Yeah, I was completely willing to help him, but then I realized he's been getting new cars every other month. And that the truth was that all those business trips were just him throwing away all that money I was giving him. Once I realized all that, it was only a matter of time before his company went bankrupt. So I don't feel the need to show him any mercy. If anything, my blood's boiling with rage. He never deserved any of the help I gave him. He never deserved the chance to marry me in the first place. I can't believe I let such a depraved man into my life. No way. There's no way any of this can be true. I mean, a casino. Jim gambling every weekend. There's absolutely no way. You have to be lying to me. It's impossible! There you go again with the accusations. No, because he hates gambling. He knows his father was a gambler and had an addictive personality that left him $230,000 in debt. And instead of paying it all off, he ran away to let us deal with that mess. It took us forever to pay it all off. He understands better than anyone how difficult it is to pay off debts. We were both furious at his father, so why? He could never do such a thing. Well, you know what they say. Addictive personalities can be passed down genetically. They always say that if your family has a history of gambling and alcoholism, you should be careful to stay away from those things. But I understand now. So that's why Jim always refused to talk about his dad. To be honest, I always was curious what happened to his father and where he was now. But I figured it was none of my business if he didn't want to tell me. Not that it matters now. I don't care to know his personal history any longer. If anything, I'd prefer if what's left in my memory could be completely erased. See? The fact he refuses to talk about him is proof that he's still deeply wounded by his father's behaviors. So there's no way he'd allow himself to follow in his footsteps. Him! Gambling! Every single weekend, no less! That's impossible. You're nothing but a liar. Start speaking the truth instead of spewing a bunch of nonsense. Trust me, it's fine if you don't want to believe me. I don't really feel the need to try and convince you anymore. If you really want to know the truth, then feel free to ask Jim. I'm sure you'll believe what he says over me. I've understood that talking to you is like talking to a brick wall that does nothing but call me names. By the way, what did you want from me again? Don't you know that I'm a very busy CEO? I don't have time to waste on the likes of you. After all, you're someone who doesn't work. You get to stay home all day long. Gosh, I envy you. You have the time to be sitting and accusing people of lying. I've changed my mind. I don't need anything from you. I don't even want to speak with you anymore. You just drive me insane. Hello, Kate. As we both know, we've had our differences up until now, but I'm sure we can settle them. We were a family, after all. Oh, where are my manners? How have you been? It's been quite a while. I have a big favor to ask of you. Would you mind coming home? Can you and Jim start over again? We desperately need you here with us. Who's this? I don't believe I know of any Carols I'm on good terms with. Please don't joke around. God. Okay, fine, I'll humor you. First of all, what are you even talking about? Don't you remember we had an argument about this a couple of weeks ago? Have you forgotten already? You were right. Jim's company went up in flames. All that's left are piles of debt. I see. It's all just as I predicted. Except for one thing. Even I didn't predict just how quickly it'd collapse.
You see? So that's precisely why we need your help right now. We need you here with us. Please, can't you help Jim out? He's become so depressed. He hasn't been eating right.
Good. He did say he wanted to lose weight.
Be serious now, please.
But as you know, Jim and I are no longer married. We got a divorce, and if I remember correctly, you were so very happy about that. Remember?
Oh, no. I don't think I was that happy.
How dare you ask me to help him out despite everything you two have done to me? Particularly Jim. I will not be helping him because I have no obligation to and because I don't want to. And I don't want to have to be dealing with you any longer.
Please don't say that. You don't have to be so mean. Even if he is your ex-husband now, you spent so many years with him. Okay, if you don't want to go back to him, then could you please at least help him financially?
Nope.
Please! Even just a little bit of money will help him out a ton. So please, I'm begging you.
Are you kidding me? I'm not being mean here. In fact, I feel as if I'm being very reasonable here. If I asked anyone around me for their objective opinion, they'd all agree that he doesn't deserve any help from me.
So what? Are you saying that you don't care seeing the two of us in trouble? What if we die because of you? We have so many things to deal with, you have no idea. Stress kills, you know. What if something bad happens to us because we're so overwhelmed and anxious? Are you that much of a heartless person? After spending so much time together with us, don't you feel even the slightest bit of sympathy or guilt?
I told you many times before, but I suppose I have to say it again. But I don't care about any of you anymore. We're no longer family, and you never treated me like one in the first place. You never liked me since the day Jim and I got married, and you've gone out of your way to make me feel unwelcome at every turn. Yet you've come crawling to me for help? It doesn't matter to me whether you guys are suffering from stress or anxiety. I don't care if you guys can't survive. That's your own problem now. So leave me out of this whole drama.
No, please. I really, really need you to help us. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. This is the first time in all my years of living that I'm begging for someone to help. I'll even kneel down and lick your shoes if that'll get you to help us. That is how desperate I am. Jim has so much debt that he's drowning in it, and the only income we have right now is the money I get from Social Security. And you probably know that it's not a lot, right? How can we survive like this?
Well, it's too bad that he's drowning in debt, but that's not my fault. If he didn't want to find himself in so much debt, he shouldn't have been wasting his money on stupid luxury cars and gambling. He only has himself to blame. He's just reaping what he's sown, and he's paying the price. Oh, right. You don't believe he gambled, right? Have you bothered to ask him about it? Did he tell you the truth? Or did he lie to you again for the millionth time, and you're about to accuse me of lying yet again, even though everything I've been saying up until now has been proven to be true?
Yes. I'm sorry about that. I did ask him if he's been gambling, and he did tell me the truth. He told me that he's lost a lot of money in his addiction. He also confirmed to me that he did go to Vegas to go to casinos there almost every weekend and lost pretty much everything as a result. I realize now that you were telling me the truth, and that Jim's the one who's been lying to me, not the other way around.
Yep.
I feel bad that I didn't believe what you've said about Jim up until now.
Right? You should. Because I told you. I told you over and over and over again. And what did you do? You didn't listen to me. What did I have to gain in lying to you about all this? He used all the money I gave to him. Oh, that's right. I think it'd be quite nice if I could have him return to me every cent he took. You know, since he used that money outside of what we mutually agreed on and blew it all away on useless crap. How about you hazard a guess and tell me how much you think I've given him over the past 6 years?
$10 million.
Ooh, so close. But it's actually more like $60 million. Incredible, isn't it? He managed to blow all of that off on luxury cars and gambling. Those casinos must be rolling in that cash. Well, how about it? Do you think he can return to me every cent of what I gave to him? Can either of you repay me?
No way. That much? And here I thought I was overestimating by guessing. But $60 million? Are you crazy? His company is bankrupt, and I only have my Social Security money to work with here. There's no way we'd have $60 million between the two of us. We're literally asking you for money. You know we're in a dire state of severe financial difficulty right now, so we don't have any money to pay you back.
I know, right? Then stop asking me for help! Don't involve me in this mess any more than you already have. I have nothing to gain from it because all you lot have ever done to me is take, and lie and insult and curse me out. I don't want to know anything about your stupid lives anymore. In fact, I want to erase everything I've known about you two from my memory.
That's so harsh.
Don't care. Do not contact me ever again. Don't worry, I'll be blocking you very soon.
Wait, but Kate! Please tell me then, how are we supposed to live from now on? The money I get from Social Security is not enough to live on, let alone two people. Why do I have to suffer like this?
Well, in this day and age, you have plenty of opinions. You can continue to receive that Social Security money, but you can pick up a job to help keep you guys afloat. Even if your age will make you nearly unhireable, there are places out there willing to hire old people like you. Maybe even a part-time job, like at McDonald's or something. Fast food chains and retail stores are always desperate for new employees, but I can't promise it'll be easy.
A job? I can't believe you're suggesting that a little old lady like me should work when I'm much too old. I'm not like the youngsters. I have a limited amount of energy each day that'll be sucked dry in a matter of hours if I have to work a job. It'll affect my health. And then what? I just die like that?
Then how about you ask Jim to start looking for a job instead? He's been technically working up until now, even though his company management skills were absolutely abysmal. But unlike you, he's much younger with plenty of energy to spare. He'll definitely have an easier time finding a job. Suggest to him that he find a new company that's willing to pay him a good salary. That way he can support the two of you while also having enough money to pay off all his debt. If I had to guess, Jim's not working at all right now, right? Especially since his company's gone under. And I know that he's a lazy bum through and through. He couldn't even be bothered to text me directly. He's having you do all the work. It's pathetic, really. He's making his mother do everything on top of trying to leech even more money out of me.
Yes, of course I told him to start looking for a job, but he's just so picky.
Picky? Really? He's choosing to be picky right now?
Yes! He said that because he was a CEO before, he doesn't want to work under anyone. He'll tolerate being a manager in the worst-case scenario, but otherwise he told me to forget about him having any other position below that.
Carol, you better tell him to get his crap together, suck it up, and go for any job that's willing to hire him. He does not have the right to choose right now. From what you're telling me, you need the money to survive, right? You won't make it without money. And even if you do wind up working, if you can only manage a part-time job, that won't be nearly enough money to support the two of you on top of paying back your debt. He should be thankful if anyone hires him at this point. He doesn't have a good track record at all. Anyway, I'm certain it'll hurt his pride, and I'm sure he'll miss getting to live his previous luxurious life on my money. The money I was giving to him to support his company, mind you. It'll be so tough on him emotionally that he won't be able to eat his fancy seafood meals and perfectly cooked steaks until he works hard and earns plenty of money. He might be in his senior years by then, though. And that's the best-case scenario. That or he can hope to win the lottery, although I'd advise against trying since he clearly has an addictive personality.
How horrible.
Anyways, like I've said before, but he brought all this on himself. So he can't blame anyone else for the mess he's in right now.
Okay. Fine, I understand. I don't care about Jim right now. This is my own personal request. Since his company no longer exists, that $900,000 you were giving him every month is basically like extra money in your pocket now. Right. But you were doing just fine without it, so it's just like a little bonus for you now. Right. I wasn't the one who wasted your money. That was Jim. I got a small portion of it as an allowance, sure, but I had no idea it was from the money you were giving him. So please, I promise I'll be much more mindful of how to spend it. I won't waste it like Jim did. I promise I'll use it only to support myself in my daily life. Oh, wait, I suppose $900,000 is a little much. I apologize. Just maybe half will do? A quarter? Something? Please.
I don't care if it wasn't you who wasted that money. None of that is any of my concern anymore. Have you even been listening to what I've been telling you up until now? Oh, you really just love to make me repeat myself, don't you? You love making me sound like a broken record, don't you?
No, not particularly, I swear.
Ugh. I have nothing to do with you guys anymore. We're not related in any shape or form. We're strangers. I could have blocked you 5 minutes ago. In fact, I should have. Maybe I should change that.
No, please don't.
I have no reason to help you two out anymore. And even if you weren't the one who wasted that money, it's not like you were ever a nice mother-in-law to me. I don't have any desire to help out someone like you. So just leave me alone. You can starve on the streets for all I care. You've done nothing but hurt me.
Please find it in yourself to have a heart. Please, let's redo everything. Please get back with Jim and start everything over. You can even start over from when you were dating. Or you can get married again. Then we can be a family again.
No way!
I'll be good to you from now on. Then you can support us financially, and we can all live happily together as a family. Oh, now that I've typed this all out, I feel like this is such a good idea for everyone involved. Don't you think?
Nope. No matter how much you try to convince me, you won't be getting anywhere with me. There is no way in hell I'd ever get back with Jim. I don't need a useless husband who's good for nothing but wasting my money and lying about me to his mother. And I don't need an annoying mother-in-law from hell in my life anymore. So stay away from me. Leave me alone.
No. Please don't say that. You guys were married once. Don't you have any feelings left for him? Don't you miss him at all? Think about all the good times you've spent together. Don't you feel any desire to help him out?
Nope. And after finding out what he's been doing behind my back, that sort of taints any good memories I do have of him. Which I think most people would find understandable. Also, that's been like the third time I've told you that I don't feel anything toward you or Jim anymore. So, again, way to make me repeat myself for the millionth time. Might as well go out with a bang, I guess.
But still, even if I wasn't exactly the best mother-in-law to you, didn't you once say you were willing to give me an allowance? You were willing to give me what was left in that savings account of yours, right? So how about it now? Can't I take you up on that offer? There was around $2,000 in there, right? Can't you give it to me as part of a one-time payment? That was the original plan anyway, right? Besides, you told me how much money you make. That amount of money should be nothing but petty cash to you. Right? I really don't think I'm asking for a lot here, especially since this is a one-time payment only. You won't have to give me anything else ever again. So just this once, give me $2,000 and I'll leave you alone forever. If I was asking anyone else, I'd think this is too much. But please, for you, it's the kind of money you could drop and you wouldn't even bother to pick it back up.
Oh my God, shut up! You are so annoying! Stop asking me for money! How long are you going to keep this up? Just because you asked me for help doesn't mean I have any obligation to help you. I suppose you've been right this whole time. I'm not nice. I'm cruel and mean. And because I'm cruel and mean, I will not be giving you money no matter how nicely you ask me. Besides, I gave Jim plenty of money over the 6 years his company was having trouble. I think you guys should pay me back the money you owe me before you ask for even more help. Because don't think any money I would give to you at this point will be for free. In other words, you'd just be putting yourself in even more debt by asking me for money.
No. Please just let us have the money. Don't ask for any of it back. We can't afford it.
Why? You've never done anything to help me, and you've never done a single nice thing for me.
No, I'm certain I've done nice things for you. I think.
The handful of times we've stayed at your house for the holidays, you always gave me all the burnt bits of any food you served, and you always gave me half as much as you gave Jim, claiming it's because he's a hard-working CEO who needs the nutrients more than I do. And you worked me around the house while you let Jim just laze around. You'd make desserts for him but wouldn't let me have any in return. You've never been nice to me. I don't owe you any kindness or mercy. You've actively made my life miserable. I can't believe you're asking me for help anyway. What a shameless person.
The past is in the past. There's nothing I can do to go back and change my behavior. No one likes to beg for mercy. I certainly don't want to beg you for anything, and I don't want to ask you for money. But what choice do I have? It's the only way we can survive, because neither me nor Jim have enough to live on. We can't support ourselves without your help. So please, I'm setting aside my pride to do what I need to do. The least you can do is show me mercy. Please, I'm begging you. Please be understanding and just help us out. Put yourself in our shoes. Wouldn't you desperately be wanting help? Can't you imagine how ashamed I feel having to resort to this? I promise, this is the only time I'll ever ask for your help. After this, no matter how much we struggle and suffer, I'll never come back to you for help ever again. I swear.
Whatever. Don't care. You're annoying me so damn much that I can hardly stand it.
No. Please calm down.
No. Stop making me angry. Do not contact me anymore. You know what? It's about time I finally block you guys from my contacts. I won't have you invading my life for another second longer. We're divorced. You're not my mother-in-law. You're a complete stranger to me. End of story. I don't want to be involved with you or Jim's life anymore. I don't even want to look at you guys. So good luck with everything. You'll be having to deal with it all on your own from now on.
Wait, Kate. Please. I won't tell Jim about this, so please just help me. Please. I desperately need your help. Please don't block me. We can work this all out, I swear. Things don't have to end this way. Don't go.
After that, even though I promised I'd block her, I was morbidly curious as to how far she'd go. So I didn't block her right away and left all her messages unread. She continued to attempt to call me all day and into the early evening. It was around then that I figured that I've had enough, and so I finally blocked her. If I had allowed her to keep going, I'm sure she would have gone for weeks, and I simply don't have that level of tolerance. I'm not a saint, just a human. It's the same reason why I refuse to show either of them any mercy no matter how much they begged me. Things have grown so much more peaceful for me since then. I've been able to put my all into my company to help it grow, and I've actually found a guy who's kind of caught my eye. Also, there's one thing I didn't tell Carol throughout all this, and it's that I actually claimed compensation from Jim after all for everything he's caused me, and he's been severely behind on his payments. Of course, I don't actually need that money, but I wanted to retaliate against him somehow so that he learns his lesson once and for all. It's not like he needs to pay me back for all $60 million that I gave to him. But of course, he's just such an unbelievably hopeless, pathetic man. When his company went under, I actually rehired some of his former employees. Even if Jim was a trash human being, his employees didn't deserve to suffer in the aftermath after all. And he had plenty of competent workers working underneath him that he didn't value at all. And a few of those employees have told me that Jim is still going to casinos almost every day, hoping that he will finally hit the jackpot at one of those casinos that'll blow away every cent of his debt. Isn't that insane? After all the trouble his gambling habits have put him in, he still thinks he has the luxury of doing something like that? What about his mother? His debts? I really thought he might finally suck it up and get some other kind of job so that he can support himself and his mother. But I see now that that's just proof of how useless he is. It's unbelievable that I wasted a decent chunk of my life with him. As for Carol, I heard that she started working as a housekeeper at a hotel. And because her son isn't working and is only getting himself into even more debt, life is still very tough considering her meager income. They've had to sell off her house and move into a much smaller and crummier apartment. Now they're on the verge of homelessness, and she's having to consider picking up a second job. It's such a pity that she has such a useless son who only knows how to waste money as if it grows on trees. But honestly, I can't feel too sorry for her. If she had just been nicer to me, I might have felt more compelled to help her. Oh well, maybe if Jim manages to marry someone again, she can be nicer to the next woman he gets with. Anyway, I did say that there's a new guy who's been catching my eye, but I've been way more focused on my company, and I'm not in a rush to jump into a new relationship. I'm doing my very best each and every day working to make my company bloom. In fact, I'm hoping that I can open a few more branches in some other countries. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to see more content just like this.